Hey guys, Jake here, and today I'm here with week number 4 of CPC. This week we're up against Golden Centurion, aka Carson. He's a really nice guy. He just joined CPC majors after being in the D League for a season. Here's a really nice guy, so I encourage that you check out his channel. He's pretty new, so I would definitely advise checking him out. Link to that will be in the description. So we're playing Carson. We're trying to, stay undefeated in the regular season, so of course I did prep hard for this game. His team consists of Jirachi, Weavile, Thunderous T, Togekiss, Blaziken, Mega Venusaur, Golurk, Empoleon, and Vivillon, and mine of course consists of Mega Gardevoir, Manaphy, Hydreigon, Metagross, Hawlucha, Amoonguss, Golbat, Sneasel, Kangaskhan, and Seismitoad. So, I was having a lot of trouble building for this game just because his team is extremely threatening. Yeah, basically just some of his threats I just don't have much answers to. It was a real challenge building for this game, so I did get a few mocks. Shout out to my boys Jack, Dougal, Narth, I think mocked me. I think LeJohn mocked me as well, so yeah. Shout out to those guys. Yeah, so let's talk about his team real quick. So he's got the Jirachi. Jirachi, not the biggest threat to my team, but it is annoying because it is a really good check to my Mega Gardevoir. It's very good switching, which is kind of annoying. I can't really run Focus Blast as coverage for it, so it is a very good check to it. So yeah, it kind of just messes around with the coverage I can carry on my guard, which is of course annoying. But other than that, I have a lot of good stuff that can threaten it. It did kind of restrict me from bringing some of my defensive Pokemon, such as Amoonguss, this game. Spoilers, I'm not bringing Amoonguss. But, yeah, basically, Jirachi is kind of a good check. It can provide wish support for his team, which is kind of annoying. Scarf Jirachi is also very possible to bring versus my team, so definitely gotta watch out for that. He's also got the Weavile. Weavile is a gigantic threat to my team. It just destroys me. Basically, it hits everything super effective on my team except for Sneeze. Its dual stabs hit everything super effective on my team except for Mega Gardevoir, which it dies to a Life Orb Bicycle Crash. Sneasel, which I slow kick. Kangaskhan, which is 2 KO'd, and Seismitoad, which is 2 KO'd and gets worn down really easily. So, and Manaphy. Manaphy is a pretty good check to Weavile, but if my Manaphy goes down, I have very little for Weavile. Its Ice Shard priority is also really good for some potential Scarfers, and yeah, it's just a huge threat to my team. So Weavile is definitely annoying. He's got the Thunderous T. We're facing Z Thunderous T for the second time in a row because Carson just got Thunderous T in a trade with Abe. Thunderous T is the huge threat to my team as well. Last time I had pretty good answers to it, but that was because Abe brought a Scarf Thunder versus my team, which I don't really agree with, and also I was able to bring Amoonguss that game, which is a pretty good check. But thing is, Amoonguss had a good matchup. Last game versus Abe, it got 5 kills as a matter of fact, but this game it honestly just has a pretty terrible matchup, so I can't really bring that to check Thunderous T. Even then, it's not really checked because stuff like Nasty Plot plus Psychic kind of blows my Amoonguss away. So yeah, Thunder T is a huge threat. I'm also kind of scared of the potential of Z-Fly to nuke stuff like my Gardevoir and my Amoonguss. So yeah, Thunder T definitely restricted how I built this week. He's also got the Togekiss, and Togekiss is pretty annoying this game because Togekiss is just extremely bulky. It's a pretty good check to stuff like my Hydreigon, my Hawlucha, and yeah, it can keep hazards off, be Heal Bell, Thunder Wave, classic Togekiss stuff. Very annoying. He's also got the flinch core with Jirachi and Togekiss. I don't blame him for drafting that just for the flinches because it's overall just an amazing core. Like Jirachi Togekiss it's a fantastic course. So yeah, I don't blame him. He's also got the Blaziken. Blaziken is a really good mon in the format. I'm a big advocate of it just because it's so hard to switch into. It 2 KOs like most stuff in the game. So and it's also just a gigantic threat to my team. I don't really have a resist to its dual stabs, and it just blows it away. Like even like a max defensive Golbat just takes 1,000,000 from a Life Orb Flare Blitz. So yeah, Blaziken is a huge threat. Also, Agility Blaziken is kind of is a huge threat after a Flare Blitz, after an Agility. So yeah, Blaziken was just really scary for me to prep for. He's also got the Mega Venusaur, which he got pretty late in the draft, which was definitely a good deal for him. Mega Venusaur is really annoying. It just walls so much of my team. Walls stuff like my Manaphy, kind of walls my Sneasel. My Amoonguss can't do anything to it. It can take sidekicks from guard well and hit it with Sludge Bombs. So yeah, Venusaur is really annoying this game. It can like knock off my Metagross and my Golbat. It can leech seed stuff down. It's a gigantic nuisance. Golurk, not really too scared of this game. I do have pretty good checks to Golurk. A lot of my stuff does outspeed it, and I can revenge it pretty nicely. I have Hydreigon switch into its dual stabs if need be. Golbat can switch into Golurk pretty well as well. Empoleon, kind of annoying because it can also check my Manaphy. He has a lot of stuff to check my Manaphy, as you can probably tell. I can't really run coverage for his team, because he has the Venusaur, the Empoleon, and like a lot of his stuff just takes +3 attacks well. So yeah, and like Empoleon can just take a hit and roar me out. So yeah, not the best matchup for Manaphy, which is definitely annoying. But yeah, Empoleon, pretty annoying because it can deal with my Manaphy well. Also can pivot into guard's Hyper Voices, and can overall just perform good hazard control for his team. So yeah, pretty solid mod for him in this matchup. And he's also got the Vivillon. Vivillon I'm not really scared of because I do have good checks to it, and I do have a decent amount of priority to check it on my roster, and as well as just pretty good special bulk. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into my team. So the first mod I put on this team was this pretty cool Hydreigon. We're rocking Life Orb with Dark Pulse, Head Smash, Taunt, and Roost. The CV spread is pretty complicated, but basically what it does is that I am speed creeping all of his base 80s, which is stuff like Togekiss, Blaziken, Mega Venusaur. Yeah, basically those 3 mons. I didn't think he'd run max speed, speed boosting nature on those, but I didn't really want to take the risk because those are all pretty big threats to my team. So yeah, this attack in special attack nature ensures that I will Life Orb Dark Pulse into Head Smash. Guaranteed kills the Togekiss spread I am expecting, which is something like, I'm not gonna say exactly what it was, but basically it's like a bit of speed for hit for my Metagross, and then it's like mixed defensive. So the spread, the offensive spread that I did should guaranteed knock it out. And then I've got 1/16 Spit F, so Venusaur's Sludge Bomb can't 2KO me, meaning I can wear it down with Dark Pulse, Taunt, and Roost, which is very nice considering how annoying Venusaur is to my team. So yeah, this is a really nice mod versus team. He really doesn't have a switch in besides Togekiss, which I can hopefully lure in. I'm not really expecting a Scarf Togekiss, but I can always scout for that if need be. So yeah, this is just a really nice mod versus team. Really helps me with stuff like the Jirachi. Unfortunately, I will have to scout his sets a bit for this to work as well as possible, but that's fine. If I play my cards right, this mod can definitely put in a lot of work. So yeah, next up I've got just an extremely good mod versus team. I've got my Metagross holding the Life Orb with Rock Polish, Meteor Mash, Earthquake, and Zen Headbutt. This EV spread is ensuring that I outspeed Scarf Blaziken after Rock Polish and max attack, adamant, and rest in HP just to do as much damage as possible. This mod is fantastic, this game. Basically after rock polish, he really doesn't have much for this. I do 1,000,000 to Jirachi and Empoleon with Life Orb Earthquake. Even then, it can't do too much back to me. I can't OHKO the Mega Venusaur with Life Orbs and Headbutt, but I can do a ton of damage to it, and with a bit of chip, it'll be gone. I do a ton to Golurk. I OHKO Vivillon. I OHKO Weavile. OHKO Togekiss. I kill Thunder T after rocks, which makes rocks really important because I kind of want to sweep late game with this thing. So it's also just the other great thing with this set is that it can function as a late game sweeper and as a wall breaker, just because he doesn't really have great switch-ins to this at all. So yeah. This in conjunction with Hydreigon can hopefully kind of whittle down his wall core for some of my other mods to do more work. So yeah, this is just fantastic mod versus this team. And yeah, next up I've got my Seismitoad. Holding the Rindo Berry with Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Scald, and Toxic. Toxic is so I can hopefully cripple the Togekiss. Scald is there because Scald, hopefully I can burn stuff such as the Weavile. Scald actually wasn't really that good this game, but Seismitoad doesn't get good water stabs, so I figured I'd just go with it. Rocks are really good this game because they can do 25% to the Weavile and to the Thundurus. It does get the Thundurus in range of the Life Orbs and Headbutt from my Metagross, which is very important. Yeah. And Earthquake hits his team pretty well. Basically, this thing is here to kind of get rocks up. I can take hit from Blaziken if need be, hit it hard back. Same with Weavile. I can deal with Scarf Jirachi pretty well. I take Zen Headbutts pretty well. I can also 1v1 the Empoleon. The Rindo Berry is for Jirachi's Energy Ball and Empoleon's Grass Knot, so I can 1v1 the Empoleon more easily. Not the best mod in this matchup. This spread is just max HP, mostly defensive, and 60 SpDef. This SpDef was so I can take a +1 Life Orb Hurricane from Vivillon, but that was when I had Rock Slide on it over Toxic. In hindsight, maybe I should have put it into defense to take Weaviles. It's better, but I think it might come in handy. So next up, I have got my Hawlucha. Holding the Power Herb, Sky Attack, Stone Edge, High Jump Kick, and Sword Stance. This is a very good mod versus team. At first I didn't have it because I figured it was kind of weak versus team, but after really thinking about it a lot, I realized this mod does a lot of work because it helped me nuke the Venusaur, which is much I really didn't have much of if my Metagross went down, which is really nice. I can just get that Unburden boost ASAP as soon as I use the Sky Attack because of the Power Herb. +2 Stone Edge kills Togekiss and Thundurus unless they're Tardy Berry. +2 High Jump Kick kills most Jirachis. This thing has a very good chance to sweep after if I get an SD up and I manage to get a Sky Attack off. So yeah, I can take a nice shard from the Weavile if I'm healthy enough. I can even set up on stuff like the Empoleon. That was another reason I put this on my team, because my best ways of breaking the Empoleon was stuff like having to take hit with Seismitoad or relying on not getting Scald Burnt with Metagross. So yeah, this thing is nice because it can nuke the Empoleon in that way, and just overall hit his team very hard. Another good potential sweeper this game. So yeah, and at this point in building, I was really having trouble because I couldn't really check Weavile or Thundurus well. As you can see, the team I have so far is very weak to Hydreigon, or not Hydreigon, Thundurus T and Weavile. So the last 2 mons I put on the team, they don't really have great matchups, but I put them on the team because they're kind of obligatory to check some certain mons on the team, so on his team. So That's why I put on this Gardevoir, which is Mega Gardevoir, Focus Blast, Wish Protect, Psychic, just a bit of speed for speed creeps, 12 special attack. It was for something that I can't remember. I think it might have been 2 KO and max speed F and Empoleon with Focus Blast. I don't know, I can't remember, but basically, Focus Blast, Wish Protect, Psychic, weird move pool, no Hyper Voice. That's just because Guard just really doesn't have a good matchup versus his team, because I couldn't really carry coverage, because like if I was I felt like I need Wish Protect just so I can heal up if need be, because this thing is really important to help me check the Thunderous T. If he is Z5, that's really unfortunate, but if he is Z5, then I know he's not something like Gigavolt Havoc, meaning I can take a hit with my Metagross if need be, and I also know he's like not Charty Berry, so I can hit him with Stone Edge with my Hawlucha. So yeah, Wish Protect is important for recovery. It's also there because I can't really break the Jirachi anyway, and the plan, if he has the Jirachi in the back, is just to Wish up, and then I can go into something like my Metagross or my Seismitoad and hit it really hard and just put on some offensive pressure versus his team. So yeah, Psychic and Focus Blast hits the rest of his team. I did consider Hyper Voice plus Psychic, but the thing is that didn't even hit Empoleon, and I kind of wanted this to beat Empoleon 1v1, so I did opt for Focus Blast. And the reason I don't have Hyper Voice plus Focus Blast is so I can hit the Venusaur. So not quite the. I felt like this was the best move pool that I can bring. No Hyper Voice is kind of weird. This guard is kind of weak, but I just put this thing here to do its job and to check the Thunderous T. So yeah, and last but not least, another Mon with a not very good matchup, but I felt it was kind of obligatory, was this Manaphy. Now this is a pretty weird Manaphy set. Heal Bell, Scald, U-turn, and Light Screen, holding the Normalium Z. What that does is, if need be, I can click the Z Heal Bell and get to full. And this thing is mostly physically defensive. Basically, this is my Weavile switching. It can switch into Weavile pretty well. Because of the Normalium Z, it can't get knocked off, meaning knockoffs from Weavile do a lot less, which is great. This speed is for base 80s, and base 80s that want to creep my Metagross, so I'm just running a few speed points above my Metagross. I don't really need that much defensive investment to check the Weavile. Like Banded Weavile does like 35 with knockoff, which is great because like in conjunction with Wish support from my guard and the Z Heal Bow, I can kind of check it. The move pool I was kind of torn on, so I decided to go with Scald. U-turn for momentum, Scald because it's Scald. If I can catch a Venusaur, if I can just Scald right on the Venusaur, that's pretty nice. And I put Light Screen on there because a lot of his initial switches into this thing are usually special. And if I can get that up on the switch, and it gives me an easier time switching in. So like for example, if he wants to go into the Venusaur versus this thing, I can set up a Light Screen and then U-turn into something like my Hawlucha, and the Sludge Bombs will be doing that. Sludge Bombs will be doing nothing. It is also really good because it assists my Metagross and Hawlucha for setting up late game. So yeah, that's really good. So yeah, this is the team I built. I'm feeling pretty good about this team. I feel like it can definitely work. I just gotta play my cards right. So yeah, I'll be back with the match. Alright, here we are with the match versus Carson, and as you can see, he decided to bring a team of Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, Jirachi, Weavile, Thunderous T, Empoleon, and Togekiss. So yeah, this is about the team I expected. Thankfully no Blaziken, that's a huge relief for me. So yeah, but other than that, about the team I expected. No Golurk or Vivillon, which is, I didn't expect those to come at all when these other monsters are really good versus me. But yeah, basically looking at his team, I want to lead off with my Hydreigon because I want to try and lure in that Togekiss as soon as possible. So I am going to lead off with my Hydreigon as he leads off with Thunderous T. Now this is a pretty weird turn one. So basically, he can't kill my Hydreigon unless thanks to my special defense investment. which is clutch. He can't kill me unless he's all up pummeling or he's a boosting item like Life Orb or Expert Belt. But basically, I was expecting something like Gigavolt Havoc, so I'm not really fearing that much. This thing does get OHKO'd by Head Smash, and I am also thinking he should probably scout for my set and maybe go into something like Togekiss on an expected Draco Meteor. So I'm gonna make a pretty aggressive play turn 1. You can't argue that this was a misplay on my end when I have a guard switch into this, but basically guard just losing me momentum at this point in the game, and I want to put on the offensive pressure early. So I'm just gonna go straight for the Head Smash on turn 1. As he actually goes straight for the Focus Blast, he hits. I live on 13, and I just knock out his Thunderous with the Head Smash. So that's a pretty wild turn 1 because we already have a double down. We both knocked out important members to each other's teams, so yeah, pretty crazy. And now we have a double down. So this was something we both thought about for a while. Basically, my thought process was that because I lost my Hydreigon like that, it's Togekiss just became a much bigger threat, and because of that, I want to try and get my rocks up. Because if I can get my rocks up, it taking 25% each time it comes in is great. It's very good for stuff like my guard, as well as my Hawlucha. So, also the one thing he really has to immediately threaten my Seismitoad is his Venusaur, which I do have some switch-ins to. So I am gonna go into my Seismitoad in hopes of getting my rocks up as he goes into his Empoleon. Now this Empoleon could very well have Grass Knot or Defog, but basically, I still want to get my rocks up on this turn because I can either force a defog later on in the match. If he goes for the Grass Knot, I do have the Rindo Berry. I can chew that and then maybe go something like Hard Hawlucha on the next Grass Knot or his defog. So I'm just going to get my rocks as he goes hard into his Venusaur, which makes sense on a potential Earthquake. So he goes into his Mega Venusaur versus my Seismitoad. I still do want to preserve my Seismitoad. It isn't the most useful Pokemon, but it's nice to keep around in case I need to get my rocks up later on in the game. Check the Jirachi, save it as a sack, stuff like that. So basically what I'm thinking is my Metagross switch is very obvious here, and I'm kind of expecting this Venusaur to have knockoff. I know he's probably not going in for a Sludge Bomb on this turn because, one, it allows my Metagross to free switch in, and it also doesn't hit my Seismitoad very hard. So I'm going to make a pretty aggressive switch into my Gardevoir, expecting either the knockoff or the Giga Drain. And I don't want my Metagross getting knocked off because it is my win condition. As I go hard into my Mega Gardevoir, he Mega Evolves, and he goes for the knockoff. So we get that play right. So now we're in with my guard. I am just going to Wish Up on this turn because I am expecting him to go into either his Jirachi or his Empoleon. And I can just kind of go into my according check if he does want to go into his Jirachi. So yeah, I'm going to Mega Evolve and go for the Wish as he goes into his Empoleon. This is perfectly fine with me because Flash Cannon does absolutely nothing to my specially defensive Gardevoir, and he also reveals that he has leftovers, which I kind of caught by surprise because I was expecting this thing to either be Chople Berry or Choco Berry, but because of this, I can actually just stay in and go for a Focus Blast and 2-KO him. So yeah, that's great as he just goes for the Defog to get his rocks off the field. So I have no reason just to Wish again, expecting him to maybe switch out something like a Togekiss or his Jirachi. So and even if he wants to stay in and go for the Flash Cannon, I eat it. So he does go hard into his Togekiss. On this turn, I don't want to go hard into my Metagross because he could have something like Thunder Wave or something like a offensive Fire Blast, and it's just not worth risking my Metagross when I don't have to. So what I'm basically going to do on this turn, I'm just going to gauge the damage and go for the Psychic. Hyper Voice would be nice at this point in time, but I do stand by the coverage I brought. So I'm just going to go for the Psychic, kind of gauge his set, and if he does go for something like Thunder Wave or Toxic, I do have Heal Bell on my Manaphy, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I just want some information. It's also nice if you go for the Air Slash because I can scout a set and I will get the Wish back. So I'm just going to go for the Psychic on this turn as that does a decent chunk as he goes for the Thunder Wave, and basically this damage reveals he's definitely more like especially defensive Togekiss, which I expected to deal with my Hydreigon. So He's also leftovers, which is good information as well. So here on this turn, I did just previously say I don't want to risk my Metagross, but I'm not expecting him to double Thunder Wave when I could have something like actually he double Thunder Wave was a possible play, but I did have the Manaphy with Heal Bell on the back, and I Heal Bell on a lot of his mons. I can even Heal Bell on this Togekiss, I can Heal Bell on Empoleon, Heal Bell on Manaphy, and even Heal Bell on Jirachi once I scouted set. So I'm gonna go hard to my Metagross, put on the offensive pressure, and I could be in a great position. And so yeah, I go hard into my Metagross as he goes for the Air Slash, and yeah, that is definitely not offensive damage. So I'm in my Metagross versus Togekiss. He does get one shot by Meteor Mash, but I don't want to set up too early. Maybe this was a misplay on my end, but basically I'm going to fire off a Meteor Mash, get the Jirachi in range of Earthquake if he wants to switch into it, and he does go into his Jirachi. I get a crit with Meteor Mash. It's not really going to matter, but basically that reveals that he's not like defensive or anything, and he's also he's got a bit of HP investment, but he's not like max HP. But basically Jirachi will die to an Earthquake if he goes for it on the next turn. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go straight for the Rock Polish on this turn, because if I do, I'm in an amazing position, because he really just does not have a switch into this. I killed the Thunderous Tea, which is fantastic. So yeah, he can't really do much to me. I take pretty much nothing from a Shadow Ball. So I'm going to go for the Rock Polish as he goes for the Drain Punch, which kind of caught me by surprise. But yeah, I go for the Rock Polish. He is definitely in range of Earthquake, so I am just going to go for the Earthquake. As I do knock out his Jirachi. So here he brings out his Weavile, and I know a very potential play that a series of plays he could make is just go hard into his Polion, try and pivot around my Metagross, rack up the Life Orb damage. But the thing is, it's also kind of 50-50, and if I do just kind of attack what's in front of me, I still could get a kill, maybe even two. So I'm just going to play it safe. He also might think I'd overpredict and go for the Earthquake, predicting the Empoleon. If I actually got a lot of chip on, like 15% on this Weavile, it actually would have guaranteed die to Earthquake, but I'm just going to go for the Meteor Mash. If he goes into Empoleon, I can just Earthquake at the next turn. So I am going to go for the Meteor Mash as he goes on into his Empoleon, and no attack boost, unfortunately. If I had the attack boost, I'm pretty sure I just win on the spot. But yeah, now I can just proceed to go for Earthquake. He could go into like his Venusaur, but like, I don't know. I think his best play is just to sack this. Makes most sense to me, which he indeed does. Sorry. Yeah, he just sacks off his Empoleon, and now he goes into his Venusaur. As I said, I don't Oko the Venusaur, but I can just sack my Metagross here. This might have been a misplay, but because it could have been nice to preserve this for the Togekiss. But I also have stuff like Flinched Hands. If he's also not physically defensive, I can knock him out. So I need to go for the Zen Head, but this actually might have been a misplay in thinking back on it. But yeah, I'm just go for the Zen Head, but I don't knock it out, and he kills me with knockoff. But it's not the end of the world, because I do have my Hawlucha, which I can now bring in and finish the Venusaur off with a Sky Attack. And I will get the Unburden boost, meaning I outspeed the Weavile. And so yeah, he goes down to his Togekiss. I will 2KO this Togekiss with Stone Edge, and I kind of just want to go for that, because if I do kill this Togekiss, I win 4-0, because my Manaphy walls the Weavile. So yeah, I'm just going to go for the Stone Edge on this turn. I do about 50% because Hawlucha is weak as piss, as he goes for the Thunder Wave. Now, I am paralyzed, and Stone Edge meaning it has a chance to miss. Stone Edge being with the 80% accuracy is quite annoying, because most of you probably do know that Stone Edge was the reason I was eliminated from playoffs last season, but I can just kill him with this next Stone Edge. I will outspeed him even though I'm paralyzed, because I got the Unburden boost. And making Weavile, going hard Weavile and Stone Edge just makes no sense. So if I had the Stone Edge, I get a 4-0 victory. If not, it's a lot more complicated. But I go for the Stone Edge, and I miss. Of course, I miss the Stone Edge, as he goes for the Roost. Here, I kind of started playing on tilt, and I just spam Stone Edge, which is not my best play, because, that Stone Edge does a lot less. As he goes for the Dazzling Gleam, I live. This was actually kind of a pretty low roll, I believe, but, yeah, here I probably should have ran some calcs instead of just mindlessly clicking Stone Edge, trying to get a crit or something, but, which I do. And, I hit the Stone Edge, but he lives on, like, 48. And, yeah, here's where I actually make the right play, and, SD, because I know, his way of winning at this point is spamming Roost, so, I go for the Stone Edge, because, I can either knock him out or bring him really, really low in range of my Manaphy if I don't knock him out, so, even if, I hit the Stone Edge and I don't knock him out, I can win, 3-0 with my Manaphy, so, yeah, that's pretty nice, but, I get paralyzed, and, I die to the Dazzling Gleam. Now this game just got a lot more complicated. Because my Manaphy is not like Tail Glow or something, it can't really break this Togekiss. So yeah, it also doesn't really have recovery. My Gardevoir is paralyzed and has no form of setup, no Hyper Voice, and I'm not offensive, so I can't break this Togekiss unless I get a lot of Spadef drops. And my Seismitoad has Toxic, but the thing is, I'm slower than this Togekiss, and I can very easily get flinched down. So I could just lose to this Togekiss here because I missed the Stone Edge. You could argue that I choked by sacking Metagross, but basically, here, I have to go into my Seismitoad and try and get a Toxic off on this thing. That's my only way of winning. If I do get flinched or miss a Toxic, I could try and go into my Gardevoir, but then I'm also messing with Paraflinch. Excuse me, and I would have to try and wish my Seismitoad up, but even then, if he gets lucky enough, he can just win with this Togekiss. So I'm gonna go into my Seismitoad, go for the Toxic. He goes for the Air Slash, and thankfully we don't flinch and we land a Toxic, meaning we still have a chance to win this game. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and spam Scald with my Seismitoad, kind of attacking it off. Just kind of get some chip damage, rack up some toxic damage with the Togekiss. So he just goes for the Dazzling Gleam. I take that pretty well. Scald is doing pretty much nothing because I am minus special attack nature. Here goes hard into his Weavile. Kind of weird play because he was risking the Scald burn, but basically I'm just going to attack with my Seismitoad. Pretty useless at this point, and no need to let my Manaphy take the hit. So yeah, I'm just going to attack with my Seismitoad, go for the Earthquake, because it will get him in range of U-turn for my Manaphy. So he goes for the Icicle Crash, and that doesn't take him out, which means he reveals no life orb, meaning he's definitely Choice Banded Weavile. That was the only way he could have knocked me out, unless he's like Icicle Plate and he got a max roll. But yeah, now I'm forced to go into my Manaphy, and I go for the Heal Ball in this turn because getting my Gardevoir not paralyzed is pretty nice in case versus the Togekiss. Basically, we're at the point of the game where my Manaphy can lose to the Togekiss 1v1, and my Gardevoir loses to the Weavile 1v1, but yeah, basically it's just one of those situations where it's 2 versus 2, one Mon beats one and loses to the other, and yeah, the other Mon beats one and loses to the other, and you need both to win. So this is definitely a close game because of the Stone Edge miss. He goes hard into his Togekiss on the Scald. If I was like Tail Glow, like Z Surf, I won the game. But I do stand by making this Manaphy defensive. Otherwise, I was just so weak to Weavile. So yeah, go for Scald. That does nothing. And here my play is to U-turn into my Gardevoir to try and just wish up. Go for Psychics. Get weaken this thing as he goes for the Roost. He goes for the Air Slash. Gets a flinch the first time, which is of course annoying. I'm getting very worried as here he goes hard into his Weavile. As I do manage to break through and get the Wish. So this is a very important turn. If he has Bandit Pursuit, does kill me if I switch out. It doesn't kill me if I stay in, but Bandit Icicle Crash OHKOs me if I do stay in, and I break through paralysis and kill him with and hit the Focus Blast. I win with my guard, but the thing is, I kind of have to bank on him not going for pursuit here, because the chance of me not getting paralyzed and hitting Focus Blast is in his favor, and with how the luck has been going this game, I figured best way is to just go into my Manaphy. If he does go for the pursuit, I actually can still win, because Manaphy can actually potentially 1v1 the Togekiss, because it is pretty low. I do have Light Screen to weaken air slash damage, and I do have Z Heal Bell, and I should outspeed it. Like, I'm pretty much guaranteed to outspeed it because of my speed investment and because the damage reveals very bulky. So I'm gonna go into my guard, into my Manaphy, because I can take hits from it very well, and if he does go for the pursuit, I can still potentially win with my Manaphy. So I go into my Manaphy as he goes for Icicle Rash. That does nothing, and that is definitely bandit damage. I get the Wish back, which is very nice, and here I just click Heal Bell to get the paralysis off my guard. Maybe that was a misplay. Maybe I just should have fired off Scald, but yeah, on this turn, I believe I just get up the Light Screen because I want to weaken the damage from air slashes onto the Manaphy and the guard. As he goes for the Thunder Wave, and he actually misses, doesn't really matter because I do have Heal Bell, and even if I went for the, like, you could say I was running low on Heal Bells, but even then, I do have like the Z Heal Bell, which doesn't count as a PP, and heals me to full. So yeah, but basically now now I've got the Light Screen up and my guard is healthy. I can just go for the U-turn, get some nice chip, some nice 3% off as I go into my Gardevoir as he gets the Thunder Wave off. Now, the toxic damage is adding up on this Togekiss, and basically, I'm in a good position. I just want to spam Focus Blast on this point, because I can't allow the Weavile to come in for free. This turn I actually forgot what I went for, but yeah, if this Togekiss continues to stay in, he will lose the game, because the Toxic will add up to the point where he can't even beat my Manaphy 1v1. So I'm expecting him to try and make an aggressive play and go hard Weavile at some point, so I'm just going to spam Focus Blast. If I get paralyzed, that's unfortunate. I do break through this turn and miss Focus Blast, which really doesn't matter because it was doing like very little to the Togekiss. And here on this turn, I am just spamming Focus Blast, because as long as, if he stays in with this like a Togekiss, he loses. But thankfully he does. He just sacks off his Togekiss. He dies to Toxic. So yeah, the last minute addition on Seismitoad coming in clutch. He goes into his Weavile, goes for the knockoff. Because I am defensive Z Heal Bell Manaphy, I will 1v1 this Weavile guaranteed unless he gets 2 crits in a row. It doesn't crit me. I can 2-KO him with U-turn, and we get the 1-0 victory versus Carson. That was a very, very good game. Should have been a 4-0 victory because we should have won with Milo Lucha plus Manaphy, but we missed a Stone Edge, which kind of sucks because I want to have the best differential in the league and beat my differential from last season if I can. But good game. Definitely very down to the wire. Yeah, very, very close game. The two Mons that I brought that I said didn't have good matchups, the Gardevoir and the Manaphy, were the clutch Mons at the end of the game. Their odd sets coming through. Having Hyper Voice actually would have been a nice late game because I would have had a more spammable stab. But yeah, the Heal Bell Manaphy really coming in clutch. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't get the opportunity to use the Heal Bell. I actually did consider going for it last turn to show it off, but I didn't want to do that move. So yeah, we got a 1-0 victory. We're now 4-0 plus 10. Next week we're going up against A12 QSD, a very hard opponent. But yeah, GG Carson, definitely check out his channel. I will leave it in the description below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.